Hello my loves, thank you so much for being on my channel. We are talking about the multi-dimensional approach to rapidly and radically setting yourself free from narcissistic abuse cycles, healing trauma, and going on and transforming and creating your most abundant life, your fulfilled life, stepping into your true purpose on the planet, which really just starts with fulfillment, right? I have a very different approach. And as a healer, and I'm a very effective healer, I do not intend in any way, never have, in keeping people in healing. So some people are saying they've healed, but they're not living in abundance. I'm telling you, right? The goal of healing does not mean I'm no longer in suffering. The goal of healing is, and now I dream. I go on and live in my abundant life. God does not talk about the poorhouse on earth. He talks about the kingdom of heaven. But this video is about why more is not being done about narcissism on the planet. And I'm going to be very clear with you on this because we need a leading edge conversation with the right information. Yeah, what I'm teaching you here is healing modalities that work. What is not working is the way it's being dealt with. That's why you're stuck. If you're in therapy for years, it's not working. People come in my life and their lives radically transform, and they certainly do not stay in healing for very long at all, right? Certainly not in comparison. And because what the goal is to make you great manifestors in co-creation with the divine now, no matter how old you are, no matter how sick you are, no matter what you've been through, no matter what you think isn't worth it anymore because you've lost too much. I'm telling you, your time is still now because you still have your life left. I'm not just here to teach you about narcissism. I'm here to show you, literally demonstrate over and over again for as many people as I can that no matter what you've been through, you get to live your best life now. You get to live your dream life now. And that's a process, but it's not a long one when you really get what I'm saying. I don't talk to your, I'm talking to your power. I'm talking to your knowing. I'm talking to the wisdom in you. You have so much intelligence that you just haven't been taught how to use, and this information is not available to the masses, right? But it is going to be now. So why it's not being done? The truth of this is that we have an imbalanced society. Doesn't matter what country you're in, it's all running on the same trajectory. And there has been an imbalance on the whole planet, which basically means that the 1% have used, a lot of the 1% of people have used a style of leadership and a thinking that relies on power, manipulation and control to hold people back. There are things that the 1%, I've worked with a lot. I've worked with one billionaire, I've worked with, I'm not saying it to be fancy, I'm saying that to say that I've been with all diverse types of people. I've sat with very wealthy people and watched how they think, what they know, what they do in their businesses. I've been absolutely in poverty, and I've sat with people who just want to be on the fringes of society because they want to opt out. And I've lived in campsites and RVs and being with veterans and people that just cannot function in the structures. I've seen so much of it to understand us. And what I know about it is there's so much more about us that makes us the same than what separates us. But there are old, historic, fossil type ideas on this planet that are not serving humanity, which keeps really the majority of people trapped and their narcissistic structures. Not everyone. Now, like I say to you, there are concepts that are known by people who have, say, wealth that aren't shared with the masses. And that's about the energetics and stuff behind abundance and money, which is available to you. But there are some people that rely on you being slaves, and they don't want you to rise your consciousness, set yourself free, know the truth about abundance, the truth about money, and the truth about your own power. Because money, like anything else on this planet, responds to the amount of personal power you have. Not where you were born, not, you might have advantages if you were born into a richer family or whatever, but like, that's not it. Everything responds to our energy. And the joke on the planet is that the people in so-called authority are tiny in terms of the numbers compared to the masses. So we are all living in these cycles of suffering and being trapped, just as a society, not even when we go into narcissism, right? Without realizing that en masse we could change everything by just refusing to join in. There are very few people involved in it, but there's a consciousness that has been functioning and it's outdated, and we're seeing new models of leadership on the planet. My model of leadership is not to get you, not to control you, not to keep you stuck in healing, not to bullshit you, and certainly not to like do anything other than bring you into your own leadership and truth by self-leading, right? Which means you lead yourself through your life, through your dreams, through your desires, desires, through your healing, right? You have the power in you. So great leaders create other leaders. Doesn't mean you have to go off and run a channel and try and teach the world stuff. You might just lead your family differently. You might just lead yourself differently. Yeah, it's not what people consider great, it's you being the greatest version of you. So instead of having the new leadership model, the true leadership model, it's been distorted. People have distorted religion. They've distorted it to control society rather than the truth. Everything in all scriptures, there's so many common denominators, and they're all about empowerment, and they're all about knowing the God in you. But goodness me, are you allowed to say that? No, you should be a people pleaser, right? Because that keeps you down, doing what other people want rather than being true to your own power and your own truth, right? You should be humble. Don't talk about your greatness. That's embarrassing. Yeah? Be meek. Be meek. Be meek. Do not own who you are. Do not own the God in you. Do not even speak of those things because you'll get shot down. That is a society that just keeps people down so they're compliant. Right? So we've got this systemically. And so the reason they're not taking action, but they will, I hope in my lifetime, I am part of something that means that this gets sanctioned criminally. It's seen for what it is, and people rise up in a way that we've never seen on the planet before. I actually truly believe in my heart and soul that is possible. But that's not your job if you don't want it to be. You might just free yourself and just if you live a great life that makes you happy and are the one that just plot twist the matrix and now chooses a life that you love rather than being defined by what they did to you, we win. One by one, there's a ripple effect. One by one, you're an example of how this doesn't have to cost you your life. One by one. Yeah? And one by one, we change the world. One by one. Right? That's all we need. A plot twist. I'm a massive plot twist. Massive plot twist. It was impossible what I went through. It was impossible to heal from. And I think, honestly, the narcissists in the end, they are literally so surprised because they can't even deny God themselves now because I rose from the dead so many times it's impossible. Yeah, that's what happens when you work with the divine. You've got every access to that. There are certain people on the planet that don't want you to know that you can get rich, you can get abundant. Not that you even want to be that rich. You want to be as rich. You know, money just amplifies it. Money in the hands of good people changes the world. They tell you the wrong stories. They say like people who are spiritual aren't wealthy. That's a complete lie. Our greatest icons attracted a huge amount of abundance because of the energetics. Mother Teresa. People are telling you, oh, she was poor. Mother Teresa did not choose to live a lavish life in her own life. She didn't live in luxury, if you like. She attracted millions for her causes. Very abundant being. You can't be healed and not be abundant. So if you're not abundant yet, keep listening to what I'm talking about. Resources in the hands of good people, heal people, change the world. We build different businesses. We support humanity in a different way. We do not tolerate narcissism, or abuse of power in our world in the same way. We won't let ourselves be abused, and we won't let other people. We actually help the people who are suffering. We stop talking. Why is there so much talking about homeless people? Like this is a really big problem when it's actually one that's it's not that hard to solve. We've got enough resource on this planet, right? But it's not being allocated in the right way. I work with the United Nations. Well, I considered it. I met with people and I understood how things that we give to our corporations are not being handled. But it sounds good, right? Because you've been brainwashed to give your power away and believe that someone in authority with a fancy job title knows more than you. And I'm going to teach you how to come into your heart and soul, tap into innate wisdom and guidance. Trust it this time, so you're not a match for narcissists. And beyond that, you see through the bullshit. If you can't understand something that someone supposedly clever is saying, they're not that clever then. Because genius comes when you can take complexity and make it simple. It's not a problem with you. The biggest problem we've got right now is you've been told to fix your codependency, fix your childhood wounds, fix what's wrong with you, then deal with the first thing. And the first thing is what's extraordinarily wrong with a narcissist. That, right, you shouldn't have to be so healed to get on in a society. Yes, choose personal growth. And in Sovereign, last day to join Sovereign is today, we talk about self-focused, being aware of yourself, self-partnered, which is a bit like self-parenting, being in a fantastic relationship with self. So we're actually processing our emotions and not abandoning ourselves and our truth, yeah? And self-sourcing, a great manifesto with the divine. But beyond that, if you want to play with me at a higher level, we go into self-invested. And self-invested means that I am committed to my evolution and growth. You don't want to come back 100 lifetimes as a soul and repeat the same shit. You're invested, and that involves way beyond just getting out of suffering. That involves change on the planet in new ways. That involves I'm invested to my personal development and growth at such a high level. I am right now. I always have been. I didn't do it just to get healed. I did it to evolve. Our evolution and growth changes the world. Our evolution and growth means these structures fall away. But the reason it's being tolerated so far is because it's serving some of the authority systems in our world, which are at the moment, and you'll hear on the news, falling away because people are waking up, and it doesn't take much. One by one, we see the truth. Stop being gaslit by society. If you don't understand something, it's not because you're stupid, it's because they're not clever enough to explain it or want you confused. You're a very intelligent being, capable of healing your body, capable of tapping into innate wisdom, divine wisdom. Everything you know is wrong about what people are teaching you or trying to control you. If religion is creating fear in you, it's not being taught in the right way. The scripture is true, but the person executing it, if they are creating fear in you, that's not love, that's not God's intention. There is so much to say on this, but there are certain people that benefit from you. If you see the truth of narcissism, you're going to see the truth of some of the authority on our planet. That's why they're not sanctioning it. I hope in my lifetime these things are but there are people going to jail for less crimes. I want to make it criminal. I think it should be immediately criminal. You're stealing someone's life. It is a form of murder, whether it's not, literally you disconnect the soul. You completely brainwash the human being. This is the highest level of abuse, and these predators it's become an epidemic because it's not being dealt with. But the reason it's not being dealt with is because some of them are in our structures, and when people wake up, we're going to understand it. If we're calling out narcissism, we're going to have to call it out on the planet. I believe we can do that, but it starts with healing you first. It's not your job to do that if you don't feel called to. Don't see this as a big problem, because it's not. There's actually an easier solution than we would think, because we're way more powerful. It's like I gave the example that unfortunately, elephants are raised in captivity a lot in other countries, and sometimes for the circus and things. But when an elephant's raised in captivity, it starts off as a baby elephant, and they tie its foot to a pole. Yeah? But when the elephant grows up, it doesn't try and get away anymore. But that elephant could literally just move its foot. It's so strong now, it's a huge elephant. Swing its trunk and literally bust 3 of all its oppressors. In fact, just literally knock them out the way. That's what we could do en masse as a collective, right? But we've given our power away because we think people are cleverer than us, or they know more than us, or one person knows more than what we know inside. And when you're actually got your heart open and you're tuning in with the divine, then you're feeling into truth. You're feeling into God. You're feeling into divine intelligence, right? So it's not your opinion anymore, but you've got to be healed enough for that, not to project. Because some people do get corrupt when they get power. Why? Because they can't control themselves. That's why we've got to be healed to do this. I'm healed as a leader. I'm never going to abuse my power, right? But I've also got to be a strong leader in that I can't be abused at the same time. Because again, when we go into leadership, it's like, well, people think that you've got to look after yourself and look after other people. Everything I teach in Sovereign, right? Because throat tracker. Because it kind of goes both ways. But we've got to understand that we need leadership on the planet. We've all got it inside of us to be much more self-led, right? And our new leaders look different because they're heart-centered, they're heart-focused, but don't project the same thing on them that was this thing of power, domination and control. That's not where we thrive. But do we need to put resources in the right places? Yes. Do they need to be supported differently? Yes, but they're going to empower you, not trap you. So it's going to look different, and you might not trust them, and you might think, oh, people misunderstood me for a lot of my life until it was time, right? And then I turned the light on, right? But that was divinely guided. Yeah, but my methods are gentle. My healing is different. I come at it from my heart, right? That's not weak. That's extraordinarily strong. And it does change things on the planet. So these new leaders are new leaders, you, me, all of us self-leading, doing something ascension focused, right? Doesn't look like power, domination and control. We've been conditioned to trust those authorities and go into serving them rather than question them. You've gone into what's wrong with you rather than question the narcissist first. What the fuck is wrong with them? You know it's wrong. Yeah? You get to be codependent and be on a journey to heal it. You get to have childhood wounds and start coming into your confidence like a child. Because you are a child, really, for your whole life. You're still in development. This is Earth School. But you don't get to be viciously abused and then spend the rest of your life trying to figure out all the things wrong with you when you are actually here to align with an abundant life, with a beautiful life, and be part of the beautiful evolution of our planet. Narcissism freezes evolution on the planet. It's the work of the devil. Our hearts elevate consciousness so that there's a better life available for all of us, for legacy, for our children, for their children. We're supposed to make the planet a better place. We're supposed to leave making it better, not worse, and certainly not being part of this problem, right? There's time, this is a time for change, but that's why people aren't doing it. But guess what? The time is up for that. Time's up for that. Once you see through it, you'll see through it everywhere. But don't get panicked about that. Understand that makes you powerful. Ignorance is the biggest problem on this planet. That's not intelligence. I was intelligent, but I was ignorant. Ignorance means lack of knowledge and information. Yeah, lack of consciousness. Ignorance is our biggest problem, right? Ignorance, not intelligence, not information, because it's the wrong information. Ignorance is what's been keeping us stuck. So I hope that's helpful, guys. If you want to join something, please go on my website and there's a link there for today. If you're from the States, I'd rather you email me so I can give you a different link. But either way, you've got till midnight PST, and then I'm going to take the links off. So last chance to join this round. Lots of love. I'll speak to you soon.